Hey guys, this is Stacy from EatTheBite.com, and today I have a special treat for you. We're making a recipe from an old friend of mine. It's Ralph's German meatball soup, and you're going to love it. So let's get to work. First, we'll make a broth with carrots, onions, celery, salt, allspice, bay leaf, and pepper. We need to chop our carrots first, to about this thickness. Then we'll chop our celery, and really for the onion, just do a rough chop and you're all set. So here we have our carrots, celery, and onion, also known as a mirepoix. We'll put everything in a pot of water. We'll add salt, allspice, bay leaf, and pepper. What we're going to do here is we'll bring this to a boil, and then we'll turn it down to a simmer for 1 hour. While that's happening, we can prep our potatoes and green beans. This is real simple. Peel some potatoes, cut them into large chunks, and boil until tender all the way through. For the beans, all we're doing is putting them in a pot with a steamer insert, and we're going to steam them until they're tender. Now comes the meatballs. We need ground beef, onions, salt, breadcrumbs, parsley, port wine, and eggs. First, we'll get the parsley chopped. I cheated a little and threw the onions in my mini food processor to dice them. If you don't have that, then you'll need to dice these with a knife. We'll add some salt, eggs, we'll get that parsley in there, our breadcrumbs, a bit of port wine, and the onions. And you want to mix everything together until very well blended. And when you roll the meatballs, just make sure there are no cracks on the outside. We need these to stay intact while they cook in the broth. You'll notice I'm rolling a larger meatball, which I find works best with this recipe, and I got about 12 large meatballs total. Next, we're going to strain the broth and cook the meatballs. So once the broth is finished, we need to strain it. So you've got to put a strainer inside a bowl to do this. After we strain it, we pour it back into the pot. We add our awesome meatballs, and these will need to cook for about 20 to 30 minutes. I did also put the lid on slightly ajar during the cooking process. When the meatballs are finished cooking, we'll remove them from the pot and set them aside for a few minutes while we finish the broth. And this leads us to the broth, part 2, where we'll need sour cream, flour, and vinegar. We'll put some sour cream and flour in a bowl and whisk it together very well. There can't be any lumps. I got 1 cup of broth from the pot and slowly stirred it into the sour cream mixture, whisking continuously. Once the cup of broth has been fully added, we'll take that mixture and whisk it back into the larger pot of broth until we've combined all of the sour cream mixture back into the main pot. Then we'll add the vinegar and give that a good whisking. And now we'll add our meatballs back into the broth, and we're going to heat it for maybe about 10 more minutes, and we're ready to serve. Look at that pot of meatballs. It's time to assemble our bowl of soup. I love garnishing this soup with fresh dill and capers, so I'll chop a little dill. And when Ralph makes this soup, we typically create our own bowls. So first I'll add some potatoes to my bowl. I saved the carrots from the broth we made in the beginning, so I'll throw those in there with some green beans. And then, of course, the wonderful star of this dish, our meatballs. Then I'll spoon on some broth. I'm going to take some of that fresh dill and sprinkle that on top. And then I'll add just a couple of small spoonfuls of capers. And here is a bowl of Ralph's amazing German meatball soup. And it is time to eat the bite. Look at this awesome bite. The meatballs are incredible, and the creaminess and tanginess of that broth is to die for. This soup is a treasure, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. That's all for now. You'll find this and all the printable recipes on my website at EatTheBite.com. And if you like this video, feel free to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.